Okay. Let me share my screen. I'm working on one screen, so be patient with me today.
All right, go ahead. Good evening. This is the February meeting of the Norwalk Parking Authority, monthly meeting. And our agenda is on the screen for those of you that are looking. And we will delay accepting of the minutes, possibly delay that until further in the agenda, but otherwise we'll start at the top with a roll call. So Brian, can we have a roll call?
Sure. Chairman Rains.
Here.
Commissioner Fulham.
Here.
And that is it, Eileen. I'll add Vice Chair Seebeck and Commissioner Ailey once they hop on.
Excellent.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. In our agenda, we build in a time for public participation. And for those of you watching and listening in, it's an opportunity for you to present or make comments that you would like for us to hear and consider. We ask that you limit those to 3 minutes. And please keep in mind that this is not an opportunity where we have dialogue, but rather we collect the information that you give us and consider it and discuss it and integrate it into future meetings. So is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak?
There is not.
Okay, thank you, Danny. So I guess we could jump into engineering.
Okay. So just to give a couple updates on a couple of the projects that we've had going. The first one was the Yankee Doodle aesthetic enhancement. As a reminder to the commission, we went out to rebid this project last December and received only one bid. After analyzing that bid, we are not recommending moving forward with that party. Instead, we are proposing a phased approach to the project. Currently, we're collaborating with THA, who's the design and architectural team, to prepare the project and for that phased approach. The THA team is preparing project documents for painting, which we plan on doing as phase one. Phase two will address the metalwork and the lighting aspects of the project. And once those documents are finalized, we can proceed with the bidding process again. And, you know, in anticipation that we will be getting a little bit more interest if it's just the painting, maybe it might just be better just getting painting for that project instead of having a painter than a metalwork at the same time. It just seems like it just wasn't working. So we're not going to do the same thing, and we're not going to get a different result if we don't change it up a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll continue to update the commission as we progress on this.
Okay. Is there a target time frame?
The THA, Reggie informed me the painting shouldn't take that long, maybe a week and a half. So if that happens, I could get this back out to bid before our March meeting.
Okay.
The metal work is going to be a little bit more complicated, and he's like, he asked for a month, but he'll update me on that progress probably after the painting gets finished. The painting bids get finished.
Excellent. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions? Okay, I'll keep it moving. The next project that we're working on is the parking deck renovation or structural repairs and the stairwell and the corridor upgrade. Last month we reported that the bid package was completed, and I'm pleased to announce that the project went out to bid earlier this month, and the bid opening took place on Monday. We received 4 bids, which we're currently assessing, and we will present our recommendations next month. If things work out in the positive, we will have another improvement project happening this summer, which is it's great progress that we're making in the last 2 years. This will be 2 years in a row, 2 summers in a row. We'll have one of our locations going through an upgrade.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you. I think that's it for engineering, right?
Yeah, that's it. And then Rocky, I will stop sharing so you can go about your business.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Just Louis had just want to start out letting you know that Louis will not be joining us today. We have Laz annual reunion, and he's at that reunion, so he won't be able to join us for this board meeting.
Okay.
For the month of January, we had a very successful month where total revenue exceeded budget by 3%, and total expenses came under budget by 12%, resulting in a positive 54,000 in fund balance on a budgeted loss of 31,000 for the month. Transient parking, let me go to the high level summary. Transient parking was over budget for the month, and the main performance came from the South Norwalk train station and the East Norwalk train station parking facilities. The gain at these two facilities was offset by a loss at Maritime Garage, Haviland, and North Water Lot. Also, the Wall Street area off-street facilities, Wall Lot, Main Lot, and Yankee Doodle Garage also overperformed for the month. On the meter side of it, where meter revenue was over budget, slightly over over budget for the month, and we're noticing an increased activity at all areas of the city, but the main outperforming came from the West Avenue area and the Sono area. Wall Street has been on the uptick for the entire month, for the entire fiscal year, but for the month of January, we did see an increase in the Sono and West Avenue area. Monthly revenue for the month was also over budget, and the major performance on the monthly side of it was South Norwalk Garage, Yankee Doodle Garage, and Webster Lot. YMCA Lot was also overperforming as unbudgeted revenue, but for this month we didn't see the collection from the construction guys that are taking up the spaces, so we'll see an uptick in the next month revenue. The payment was received today for the January and February usage of the parking lot. Parking violation is also over budget for the month. This was due to the increased collection, aged balance collection, coupled with increased citation activity for the areas that has seen an increased activity, mainly the Haviland Street, Webster Lot, and East Norwalk Railroad that is managed and owned by Spinnaker. Those are the violation revenue that actually increased the citation for the month. Expenses for the month were under budget, and the major reason for the major saving for the month came from building repair and maintenance, operating expense, snow removal, service contract, and security services. That gave us the 12% being under budget. That was favorable for the month. But commissioners, I just want to emphasize that the building and repair maintenance saving that we're seeing, I think that is going to be used for the overhead gate repairs that are coming up for the South Norwalk and Maritime Garage. So as the years go by, we will present the numbers that we received from the various vendors. So we have that amount secured for this fiscal year. On the variance part of it for the month, operating expense was under budget for the month due to less supplies needed for the month, and also the budgeted consulting fees that were not incurred for the month. Building repair and maintenance, as I stated earlier, majority of it is from the overhead gate repair jobs that we budgeted, never incurred. Light bulb replacement and electrical repairs that were also budgeted and were not incurred. And we anticipate for the overhead gate repairs to be done by the end of this fiscal year. Snow removal expense was under budget for the month. That is due to less snow that came during the month of January, coupled with the timing of the snow, where the payment is going to be paid in February. So we'll see that the end of January invoices being paid in February. Service contract is under budget for the month. That is due to missing the service contract for the park equipment that we have at the South Norwalk and Maritime Garage. We expect that invoice to be paid for in the month of February. We've contacted the vendor to send us the invoice for it. We have not gotten the invoice for the quarterly invoice. Security services is under budget for the month. That is, if you recall, in the month of December, we paid in advance for the quarterly invoice that comes for the security service invoices that we usually get. We paid them in December, so December the security services expense was over budget, and that's reflected in the month of January as a saving. Also coupled with some alarm company invoice that has not been received for the month. Vehicle expense for the month is over budget, and that's due to one of our truck needing a transmission replacement, and that was done and paid in the month of January. That threw us over budget for the month. This is the financial statement, and the ones that are highlighted in different color are the ones that we just discussed about in the variance report. This is the full package for the financial statement. And commissioners, the rest of the operating budget reports are supplemental to what we discussed. I just want to talk about the two outlier. Everything is the same except two outliers that we noticed that we want to bring up. And one of them is the on-street activity report. We're going to go to page 16 of your package. We just want to show that on-street activity showing an increase in activity for the month of January. Comparing it to even prior year, we're seeing an uptick. And as we discussed earlier, the major increased activity is coming from the Sono area and the West Avenue area. On Sono, we noticed an increased activity at Haviland Street and Washington Street, whereas in West Avenue, Merwin, Orchard, and West Ave itself had outperformed for the month. We believe this is coming from the newly opened restaurants in the West Ave area, and the Sono area. We believe it is from the nighttime activity that we've seen an uptick in the Sono area. And the next outlier that we want to discuss is the Park Mobile report. We are seeing an increased activity on pay by phone activity in all over the places, and that was offset by a decline in South Norwalk and East Norwalk. Even with the decline at South Norwalk overflow lot and the East Norwalk lots, where the Park Mobile activity has seen an increased mainly at the off-street facilities and then on-street facilities in Sono, and that is reflected here, showing the increase in Park Mobile. With that, I'll conclude my report. If you have any question, please let me know.
Thank you, Siraj. Are there any questions? Okay, good. So Brian, back on the agenda.
It's a great story on in Sono.
Yeah, it
and
really
West
is.
Ave.
It really, and that pay by sale activity is incredible.
Yes. Okay. So, Chairman, we're these two items for new business, we're going to have to hold off until another commissioner shows up.
Yes. Yeah.
Are you okay if we move to old business and come back?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Okay.
And we can vote. I think we could vote via email. Darlene, can we do that?
She might not be. I'll follow up. I'll follow up with that and let the commission know.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah, just couple old business items. Last month we informed you that we were renovating the restrooms. We ran into a little bit of a delay because I was hoping the restrooms would have been open a week or a week and a half after our last meeting, but we ran into a ADA compliance issue with one of the men's toilets. But it was we worked through it. It worked out, but it just got delayed a bit. But this is how just for everyone to know, this is how the bathrooms look before we started all this work. And then, you know, happy to say that the restrooms have been open for a little bit over a week, and this is how they look now. So just want to let you just see how they look. If you're around the train station, please take a, you know, please, you know, use the facilities if needed, but please take a look. This is how the restrooms came out. I think it looks really good. And if there's no other questions, I'll go to the next item. And this is something you know, this is something that Snyder Group put together for us today. I want to try to get through it as best I can, but it could be something we can add going forward, Chairman, if these analytics are something we want to work with. You know, at last meeting, we successfully launched the 15-minute free option citywide. We had a minor hiccup on a meter on Washington, but it was quickly addressed by Laz and the Flowbird team. And we also did a full court press on our outreach because, you know, we heard the concerns of making sure that, you know, the public knew what was going on. So, you know, I took that to heart and I was like, listen, what can we do? So, you know, the staff went out in force handing out posters and flyers to the local businesses in anticipation of the change and in preparation for it. We also had a front page story written on the hour, and we had a successful social media post that some of these analytics are for. And, you know, I don't completely, and this is somewhat out of my wheelhouse, but it does look like, you know, we had a lot of engagement. It was seen by over 32,000 people, which is great. 518 engagements, 485 links clicked. And then we gained a couple followers on our Facebook account. That's the post on the screen. This is how many people went on to who viewed the website. You can see it escalated during the promotion of that 15-minute free parking. So we did see a lot of traffic on the website, which is great. That's what we want. And then you know, just some of the insights. The email blast, because we have an email collection from all of the people that go on our website. They sent this out to 147 of our users out of 150 that were delivered, and 36% of those users opened the email. And then they spent a pretty decent amount of time on the website for it. So it was a good campaign. And it's something we can do in the future if needed to try to get the word out.
I think that's awesome, Brian. And certainly gives a lot of food for thought. I think maybe we should all at some point have an offline discussion or however we do that to,
We can have an executive meeting.
understand the strategy and figure out how to implement that, because that kind of data is really important.
Sure. And that's it for the old business. I don't know if we want to give, let me try to give Judd a call. He said he was hitting 6:30. Let me see if that's even close. If not, then, Chairman, we could maybe adjourn. Oh, I'm sorry, Judd. Sorry. Can we let the record show that Commissioner Ailey showed, please?
Yes.
Sorry about that. I didn't see it pop in.
That's all right.
I'll Chairman, I'll go back to the acceptance a minute, then we can just kind of run down the agenda again.
So we'll do that and then jump to, that's perfect.
Okay.
So in the agenda, we need to discuss if necessary, the minutes from the last meeting, the January meeting, and act on them. So are there any comments on the meeting minutes from January?
Not for me.
All right, Peter, we're good. You're good.
I am good.
Okay. So let's have a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Thank you, Peter. Second?
I'll second.
Awesome. Thank you, Judd. All in favor? Aye. All right, so the minutes are fine. So the other two items to take action on are the potential tenant for the space in South Norwalk train station, and then the assessment procedures. So on the first one, Brian, you want to walk us through that?
Yeah, sure. So, just quick background. This is for the lobster space at the train station that's been vacant. We've been going through potential tenants and want to update the commission on the work. Adrian Hurtado of Tacos Please LLC is interested in leasing the space. Adrian is originally from Mexico and immigrated to the US when he was 15. He is a Norwalk resident. He currently operates the Taco Guy restaurant and food truck on Wall Street. He's looking to start an authentic taco spot, Carnitas Michoacan. I might have butchered that name. I apologize. In that space, it's a grab and go style restaurant that will serve commuters in the neighborhood. Being a Norwalk resident is, I think that's something we were kind of hoping to get or have interest in. Looking for the commission to discuss this potential tenant. If voted on, we can then move forward with the state required statutes to get into a lease with Mr. Hurtado. The commission should also be aware that we have another party interested in the space, but we're recommending Adrian's proposal to you tonight. He's a local resident with existing and successful restaurant, plus his vision for the space is pretty exciting.
Thank you, Brian. So I could sort of start it off if that helps. Some of what I've had conversations with Brian about is that the space is, Brian used the words once in our conversation about grab and go. That it's something that needs to, people would take advantage of it from going in either direction, either to the train or to whatever their next stop is, and Sono. And with that kind of as an underlying idea of what would be an ideal restaurant, it felt more that tacos would be a better and easier grab and go product than pizza. And plus the reputation this guy has in Wall Street, I think is really sensational. And so if he could bring, that quality of food to here as a grab and go, it seemed like, to me, it seemed like the right thing, the right direction to take. So that's kind of why Brian said the recommendation is to go this route. But we wanted to get it in front of everybody, so you know what the possibilities are. The state process, which then kicks it back to the city, is going to take a few months. So the reason that we're asking for a vote tonight is so that process it initiates with our action. So if you guys want to jump in and discuss it, or questions, or agree, then we'll go from there.
Yeah, Eric, first I've eaten at his restaurant and thought it was very good. And I just wanted to ask, the other possible tenant was a pizzeria?
I have some background on them too. So it's a gentleman named Vincent Charlotte. He partnered with Josh and Danny Mancuso. Apparently the Mancuso family has operated restaurants and a brick oven pizzeria since the late 70s in Fairfield. They currently operate Brick Oven on Main in Bridgeport. And their concept is they want to add a brick oven, a brick oven inside the space and do a pizzeria there.
Okay. I think at the moment that's my only question.
And just to give a little insight on the process that we have to follow for renting a city-owned space. I have to go to this after it gets through parking authority, after it goes through the commission. I have to bring it to the land use committee, land use and building committee to go to a public hearing. and then also referral to, they also have to approve for a referral to get into a lease for planning and zoning. So after they vote on having a public hearing, we have a public hearing at their next meeting, which would be beginning of April. And if that passes, if the public hearing passes, no concerns get brought up, or nothing that disqualifies the potential tenant, it then goes to the planning and zoning committee for a referral, and then they vote on it. Then it goes to the common council. So it's a little bit of a process to go through. This is the first step, and then after it goes through the common council, we can get into a lease agreement with the chosen party.
I would just like to mention that I've also eaten at the Taco Guy, and the food is very good. And I've heard other people say the same thing.
Yeah, my experience there has been great. So guys, is that enough to take an action?
Yeah, I think so. I'm okay with that.
Okay. So if we could have a motion?
I'll make a motion to start the process of leasing the restaurant space at Sono train station, New Haven bound side, to Carnitas Michoacan.
Excellent. Thank you. And a second?
In a second.
Thank you, Peter. So all in favor? Aye. Okay, it's unanimous. It carries. Thank you. I think this is a great step and a great addition to not only the train station, but the growing neighborhood that's around it.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting place in a few years.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll keep the commission updated on how the progress is going. So, everyone's up to speed on this.
Excellent. Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
So next was the
Conditions assessment.
conditions assessment.
So just to give some info on conditions assessment, just as a reminder, parking garages are vital infrastructures that require regular conditions assessments to ensure safety, functionality, and longevity. A comprehensive assessment typically involves a detailed inspection of structural elements, mechanical systems, and safety features. The findings from these assessments are documented in a report highlighting immediate repairs needed and recommending maintenance schedules. By addressing issues proactively, conditions assessments help extend the lifespan of parking garages and ensures they remain safe and functional for users. Our last assessment was done in 2022. We are recommending that to the board that we have a procedure put in place that makes these assessments part of the standard operating procedures that the authority follows. I'm asking the commission to discuss and vote on establishing a conditions assessment procedure. I will then bring a proposal that outlines best practices and operational costs to our next meeting for a vote. And I do want to add that the 2022 assessment that you had done, that the commission had done, I use it extensively when we do projects like the upcoming Yankee Doodle concrete work, the finishing structural repairs at Yankee Doodle, but on top of it, the Haviland deck, and future projects for the train station and maritime garage. So it's an important part of operations. And if we get this procedure put in place, we can properly budget for it, properly prepare for it, and address issues as they come up instead of being reactive. This is a more proactive stance on these issues. And this is the first step of getting a procedure put in place.
This is great. Brian, I don't know, they probably have some recommendations or maybe it's always on a case by case basis, but the frequency that we do these reports would be something that would be interesting to know what other folks do.
Yeah, the initial research I've done so far, it seems like every other year should be good, but we should have some flexibility in case one of the years identifies a serious problem, so we can watch how it progresses a little bit faster. But every other year seems good. But like I said, I'm going to take a look at some of the vendors. Ken Sugarman of Desmond, they did the original 2022 assessment. And I think they're a really good resource to have. So I will be leaning on them to give us a proposal on this and a best practice. as
Okay,
well.
good. Because we could build into our processes an
Correct.
automatic nature to it.
Correct.
Whenever that time's appropriate.
And I'll bring those findings and those recommendations once I get those proposals set up and recommended to the board, to the
Okay,
commission.
so what are we approving? Is it approving to pursue it or?
Yes,
Okay,
to establish a procedure for us to follow. And then the next month we could, or the next time this gets brought up, which I'm anticipating next month, we can outline the actual details of the plan.
okay, great. So, let's have any discussion on that.
I think it just makes common sense to do this.
Yeah, I do too. Judd, do you have any?
Yeah, Brian, you mentioned Desmond, and I'm familiar with them, and they've done a lot of work for the city and the parking authority. Is there somebody else under consideration?
Yeah, I've reached out to THA as well. I am looking for a reliable third firm just to rely on. But those two are the top ones that we've used in the past, and they're pretty reliable.
And the
Desmond
second-
is a very highly recommended structural firm for parking garages.
Okay, and who is the other one you mentioned?
THA,
THA.
they're the ones that are doing the aesthetic repairs at Yankee Doodle Garage.
Okay.
Okay, so with that, may I have a motion?
Peter, you want to have a shot at this one, or?
I guess the motion is really, I'd like to make a motion to have Brian proceed with recommendations on an annual or semi-annual basis, as he sees fit.
Excellent. Thank you, Peter. May I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Judd. So all in favor? Aye. Excellent. The motion carries unanimous. So with that, I think unless there's any other business that we need to cover, then we can have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Excellent, Peter. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. All right, great. Thanks, everyone. And I'm sorry for my odd meeting location.
Where are you, Eric?
I'm at the hockey rink in Bridgeport.
Oh, for a hockey game.
Yes, it's a work thing too, so I just couldn't get out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
but-
Well,
Good night,
not a
everybody.
problem.
All right, thank
Thanks,
you. All
Tyler.
right, have a good night, everybody.
All right. Good night.